All right, so our objective today is to be able to write an equation that is parallel, perpendicular, horizontal, or vertical. So two types of special lines are horizontal and vertical lines. These are lines that go straight across or straight up and down. A horizontal line will always have a slope of 0. A horizontal line will always have a slope of 0. It will always be a y equals equation. So remember, is in mathematics stands for equals. So it will always be a y equals equation where it is equal to a constant. A vertical line is a line that goes straight up and down. The slope of a vertical line is undefined. The slope of a vertical line is undefined, and it will always be x equal to a constant. The reason it's undefined is because you will always get a number over 0. And we know that dividing by 0 is always a no. 0 divided by a number is okay. So a number divided by 0 is no. A number divided by a constant is okay. Perpendicular lines. These are lines whose slopes are negative reciprocals. So they're negative reciprocals. When you multiply them together, you get -1. So negative reciprocals is a fancier way of saying opposite reciprocal. So if M1 was equal to 1/2, then its opposite reciprocal, or the slope of M2, would be a negative, and the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. So if in the example given the slope was 1/2, then its opposite reciprocal would be -2. If lines are parallel, then their slopes are the same. If lines are parallel, then their slopes are the same. Their y-intercepts, however, must be different. The y-intercepts must be different. The y-intercepts must be different. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples. It says, write an equation of the line and graph it on the given coordinate plane that goes through the point 5, -3. So the minute I see that, the very first thing in my head I'm thinking is, okay, I know this line goes through 5, -3. So I'm going to my graph and I'm going to 5, -3. That's a guaranteed correct value on my graph. If it is perpendicular, then what I'm going to do is say, okay, the given slope is 4. That means the slope I needs to be the opposite, so negative. And it's reciprocal, so the reciprocal of 4 is 1/4. So what that tells me is my graph is going to go down 1 and over 4, or up 1 and left 4. The directions ask me to write an equation. So we're going to use our idea from yesterday of point slope form. So it's y minus y1, which is -3, equals -1/4 x minus x1, which is 5. So we get y plus 3 equals -1/4 x. A negative times a negative is a positive 5/4. Subtract 3 from both sides. And we get y equals -1/4 x. -3 is really the same because it doesn't have a common denominator as -12/4. So -12 and 5 gives -7/4. And again, if I were to look at my graph, I can see that when I connect those dots, my y-intercept over here isn't like a nice pretty whole number. So it makes sense that the y-intercept in my equation is a fraction. Graphing lines, you need to have arrows in both directions. If you were to simply just draw me a line segment and you ended it without those arrows, so if you just went like this, you would lose a point on my quiz because that's a line segment, not a line. So the arrows on the end indicate that this is continuing in both directions infinitely. Remember from the very beginning of this chapter, the domain and range of a line is all reals, meaning it's infinite. So you need to show me it's infinite by putting those arrows on your graphs. Okay, for the next one, construct a line that is perpendicular. So you are identifying your new slope. So remember, your new slope needs to be the opposite reciprocal. So if the original slope is 5, the new slope is -1/5. And it is perpendicular passing through the point -1/3. So I know on my graph I have -1, +3. So it's y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And again, you can connect those points. So you're going to take that -1/5. You're going to go down 1 and over 5. You could go up 1 and left 5. And then connect your points. Cleaning up our equation, we have y minus 3 equals negative 1/5 x. A minus is a positive. A negative times a positive is a negative. Adding over my 3, I get y equals negative 1/5 x. 3 minus a fifth is like 2 4/5. But again, 2 4/5 as a fraction is the same as, so again, 3 as a fraction would be 15 fifths. So that would be like 14 fifths. Okay, they're parallel if the slopes are the same. So that's m equals 2/3. Y minus 1 equals 2/3 x minus 2. Y minus 1 equals 2/3 x minus 4/3. Add your 1 to both sides. So adding 1's like adding 3 over 3, so it's negative 1/3. And remember, to graph it, it's always easier to graph the point given to you. So if I was given that point 2, 1, I can start my graph at 2, 1. And then apply my slope. So my slope is up 2 and right 3. Or down 2 and left 3. Connecting my dots and making sure that my graph goes through the y-intercept that matches my equation. So again, my equation, like if you look at your y-intercept, this goes through a negative. This is also a negative. So we're checking to make sure what we say matches what we're graphing. So that's why you can work through one side, then the other, or this side, then that. Okay. Let's do the next one. So again, the next example is another special type. We're now talking about a line that is vertical. So if you go back to the very beginning of our notes, vertical means straight up and down. So a vertical line has a slope undefined. We know that it's going through the point 5, -3. So again, guarantee yourself the point 5 -3. Now, if it's vertical, vertical is up and down. So it means it's straight up and down. A vertical line has a unique domain. It is not all reals. The domain is the same as the equation. In this case, the equation of the line is x equals 5, and so is my domain. Now the range is still all reals because it can be any y value, because this represents all the y's. but only 1x. Okay, and horizontal. Well, horizontal is the opposite kind of idea. A horizontal line has a slope of 0. It means the x is unchanging. So if the slope is 0, it goes through -2, 2. Think of the horizon with the sunrise. It's straight across your horizon or your view. So it's the straight across line at y equals 2. Once again, a unique domain and range. The domain is now all reals, but the range is 2. Okay, homework is that very next page in the packet. Yesterday's homework and today's homework need to be uploaded by Sunday. They'll be your very first grade of the second 9 weeks. So yesterday and today are uploaded by Sunday, very first grade of the new 9 weeks.